and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. A great big shout out to my channel members for supporting my channel. Thank you. Okay, I sound weird, at least I do in my head, but I'm a little late with my Hobonichi Weeks Wednesday video. I'll talk a little bit more about that in next week's video, but I thought for this week we'll do something a little different. I'm going to do a 6-month flip through of my Hobonichi Weeks everyday carry and show you just the progress. I know sometimes it feels like when you're watching YouTube or you look at Instagram or Facebook, it looks like these are supposed to be purely aesthetic, and if it isn't, then you're not doing it right. I don't know if that makes any sense, but this is a working journal for me. I had to think about what this actually is because it does encompass a lot of different things for me, and it helps me. I don't have anything else that I get into on a regular basis. All of my other journals are either things that I do to track some of my hobbies, or they're just art projects that I do when the mood strikes me. So this really is an everyday carry because I use it almost on a daily basis. It's a Hobonichi Weeks English edition, January start. If I fumble or I mumble, I haven't been talking a lot. I've been sleeping a lot, so I'm sorry. This is my mode term cover. I don't get all fancy with all the decorations. None of that actually matters to me. A little bit of deco in here. Again, I don't go all crazy with it. For this section here, I use this as my period tracker, and I will be carrying this information forward. I am in my early 50s. I'm assuming menopause is right around the corner, and I think this will help me just kind of figure out what's going on with not just my periods, but also my moods. I didn't need that 2-page monthly thing. It's hard to show you because I've got covered up. So I did the words of the year, and it's just cheeky. Words of the year, I've learned over the past few years, just don't work for me if they are meaningful or inspiring. And then going into my monthly section, I didn't need this month. I believe this was December 2022, and this is going to warehouse an entire year of 2023. I won't go into the new year in this, and I won't start the old year in this, and that's how I plan to do my Hobonichis. And for my monthly sections, I am doing the videos I actually filmed for my YouTube channel, and then also when I started working overtime and what I'm actually doing. But otherwise, I don't go into these monthly sections a lot. I don't do any kind of planning, but if you can see, because we are currently actually in the first week of July, we're right here. I do mark my Saturday videos because as much as possible, I like to do a Saturday video, and I always count the 3rd Friday of the month because that's when I do the Crack the Vault video. And so as you can see, those are the only things that are actually marked. My Hobonichi Weeks Wednesday, I've been doing a really good run on it. Again, I would have missed it for this week, but my physical and my mental health just wasn't there. So you just do what you can. And that goes all the way up and through December. I think there were some extra months. Again, I've covered it up, so I'm not 100% sure. But I just did an intro to my collections. And so I did a horoscope for me. I am a Leo, so for 2023. I also looked at my Chinese horoscope as well. I left some sections to do some journaling and just some thoughts on what works and what doesn't. And then I believe this was probably the last week of December going into January, because again, this is purely for 2023, so I didn't get into this earlier, although I could have. So on a weekly basis, I like it to look very cohesive, but from week to week, it can change. I don't have any particular theme or any particular color. I do have certain amount of things that are always on there, like what's being offered in the cafeteria and my completed tasks. Other things that I add on there is like my notes for the next week, word of the week, thoughts, quotes, things like that. But that stuff can fluctuate. As you can see, there is no rhyme or reason, but when I am at work, and this is always with me when I'm at work, I do always have this open to the side. If I'm off for any particular week, then I can always do Deco, and that's what I'll be doing for this week because I am off the first week of July. And then like this month, I decided to go just pen or highlighter only. There was no stickers. And for the entire month, even though it's not really decorative, I think it's still very pretty, but I always do like writing on a page. And then it's colorful. And then I ended with just black and gray. And again, just changing some of the lettering and adding a little pop of color to me works. But then I also like stickers. And again, I don't have a theme of color. I just do what I want. This is when I started introducing one piece, and that was for all of May. And I enjoyed this immensely because One Piece is one of my favorite anime. And I also enjoyed researching these characters. For June, again, stickers vary from week to week, but it does stay cohesive. I do generally use this. It is my Energel liquid gel pen in 0.3. It's a needle tip, just because I like for my ink color to be the same. Not all black inks look the same, and that bothers me. Having chicken scratch on here and it not looking aesthetic like you'd see in a lot of videos or Instagram posts, I don't care about that. This is a working document for me. But having the ink at different either colors or line, I don't even know how to explain it, that bothers me. So I try to use the same pen throughout. This is the final week of June, and as you can see, I haven't done anything for July. This next section, because I don't do any kind of pre-decor, it's all just empty. But going into this section, this is where the note pages begin, is where I keep my trackers. And so I do have my coloring book hashtags that I like to play along with. June was a bit of a wash month for me. Like the last half of June, I only colored like 4 things. I missed a lot of these. And again, when it comes to my mental and my physical health, that actually has to take priority. And I couldn't. So I'm really sorry. And same with my buddy colors. I didn't actually write a lot of them down for June. I carried over a lot of them into July, and whether I get to any of them for July remains to be seen. I'm still going to the doctor twice a week, and so yeah, that's taking a lot of, not even so much priority, but it is taking its toll. I do a highlight reel and tracker, so there's just things I like to track on a daily basis. My highlight reel isn't necessarily the best thing that happened that day. It's just my days are very similar from day to day. And so this just is a little bit of a place for me to go into that I can write down what was different from day to day. And as you can see, I actually totally messed up here. Didn't do anything here. I'm not someone who needs to cover every single inch and get my perceived value. If I never touch this again for this year, I've definitely gotten my value out of this journal that I will be finishing out the year. That's just because I like looking at it. And again, I didn't even finish out June. It's been a bit of a time for me, and I haven't even set up July, and then I end it. Oh, no, there's actually one other section I can show you. I was tracking my books that I've read, and then I realized, right around April, that I read an insane amount of books. Now, before any of you come for me, yes, I do read really quickly. I'm a skipper, back of the book gister, but I'd say about 60% of these books, especially the Kat Baxter ones, are novellas. So they range between like 60 pages to like 130 pages. So it's really easy to just consume those kinds of books. And writing it all here and then going in again and writing in my reading journal, I'm like, I don't know if that's sustainable because there's just a lot of books that I'm reading. And I do have it on the actual Kindle app, unless it's a physical book, and then I'll need to write it somewhere, because somewhere in here, and I'd have to look through my texts with Andy, I finished a physical book. All of this are ebooks. I think I've only actually read one physical book this year, maybe two, I'd have to look. But otherwise, because it's being tracked somewhere else, I'm not too concerned because I do want this information. It's not like this is going to be kept forever and a day. I'll probably keep it for a year and then I'll toss this. So I do want it to have it warehoused somewhere where it will be kept over a long period of time, just because I do like seeing it. It's just writing it. All of the books here and then all of the books in my reading journal. Yeah, that's no bueno. And then the other section that I have is my budget section, but I never show that. But I did want to show you the first 6 months in my Hobonichi weeks. Again, I feel really scattered, but then I haven't been doing a lot of talking. I haven't been doing a lot of anything except for sleeping, reading, and watching some anime. I apologize for the lateness of this, but again, I can only do as much as my body allows. Anyway, that's it from me for now. And as always, aloha.